Well, hello, Move Easy Movers. Welcome to Move Easy Yoga with Kathy. Today is July 15th already. Whoa, 2023, or whatever day you're watching this video. So we're going to start in the usual fashion, but let me just tell you, for today's class, you will want either a block or a sponge ball. We're going to be doing the windshield wipers with something between your knees. So a thick pillow, folded blanket, a light blanket might work as well. We're going to be working on hips, on balance, and on core. So a whole bunch of things today. But we're going to start in our usual fashion. And let me just, I need to set my timer here. If I was prepared, that would be a shock. Just bear with me. Okay, so we're going to do 7 minutes, legs up on a chair. We're putting our back into static rest. So legs up on a chair. Your hips are a few inches away from the chair, so your hips are in neutral. Got that natural curve in your back. Your arms are wherever they're most comfortable. They can be straight out. They can be goalpost. They can be just at your sides. If you want to have support under your head, you can. I choose not to, but a pillow or a pile of washcloths. You want to breathe normally. You want to bring yourself and your awareness into the room. We're going to be here for 7 minutes. Okay, 7 minutes are up. Stay where you are. You can curl your tongue under the roof of your mouth if you choose. And let's slowly move our head from right to left about 6 times. One, two, three, 6. Okay, good job. Now, the next thing we're going to do is vagus nerve reset. We're all familiar with this. So your head is forward. The only thing that's moving are your eyes. So you start by moving your eyes to the right. We're trying to activate our vagus nerve. Goes down the side of our head. So, excuse me, happens right away for me. So move your eyes to the right and wait for that sigh, swallow, yawn, or gulp. If you're not used to doing this, it may take a while. If we've been doing it for a while, like I said, happens right away for me. And then once you've experienced that, your eyes are back to center, and then you move just your eyes to the left and wait for that sigh, swallow, yawn, or gulp. For me, the left side is harder. It takes another minute. Or not. Okay. Now go ahead and do this 2 more times on each side without my cueing. This is a good way to relax the body and get it prepared for movement. Okay, finish up. The next thing we're doing is head ramping. So you can leave your head on your supported washcloths or whatever you have under your head. You can put a set of therapy balls back there. I prefer a sponge ball. And the idea in this exercise is to reverse text neck. So we're going to be stretching our occipital ridge, the bony part between the two ears, runs along the scalp line, away from the body. Now you can do this sitting up or lying down. If you're sitting up, you'll be pressing the occipital ridge towards the back wall. Lying down, of course, you're pressing it towards the floor. So we're just going to do this 3 or 4 times, trying to get the ball right. So press. When we press, the chin comes along for the ride, but it's the back of the neck, the occipital ridge, that leads the movement. And hold and release. So press, hold, and release. Press, hold, and release. 2 more times. Press, hold, and release. And press, and hold, and release. Excuse me. Okay. I personally try to do that every day because I'm always looking down at my phone, my iPad, my computer, a book, all sorts of things. Okay. Now, for our breathing exercise today, we're going to do ribcage breathing. And what that is, go ahead and put your hands in L shape on your ribcage with your thumbs facing down and your other 4 fingers on top of your ribs. Now, this is just really an awareness breathing exercise. So when you inhale, you'll feel your rib cage expand. The rib cage itself actually doesn't expand, but your torso around it expands. And then when you exhale, you'll feel it contract. So just keep your hands there and just take a few really deep breaths and feel your whole area expand and contract. So inhale and exhale. Inhale. Inhale. So it's really just a way of being aware how your breath moves in the body. So there's that. Excuse me. All right, now you can push your chair away or move away from your couch if you choose. We're going to do vacuum next. I like to do it with my legs extended, but you can still do it with your legs up on the chair. So vacuum is very simple. What we're doing is we're strengthening our pelvic floor. We're going to take a normal breath and then exhale everything out of our lungs and hold it out. Press our lower back towards the floor so that natural curve is flat against the floor. Your belly button is also pressed towards the floor, holding our breath out for the count of 10. So here we go. Normal breath in. Normal breath out, but empty your lungs completely. Press your lower back to the floor. Press your belly button down. Hold your breath out. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Inhale. And give yourself a minute for your breath to come back to normal. It takes a couple of breaths. We're going to do this 3 more times. So, normal breath in. Exhale everything out of your lungs. Hold your breath out. Press your back against the floor. Press your belly button down. Hold your breath out. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Release and inhale. Give yourself a minute for your breath to come back to normal. Okay, normal inhale. Exhale all the air out. Press your back against the floor, belly button presses towards the floor. Hold your breath out. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Inhale and let your breath come back to normal. Now last one. Normal inhale. Exhale everything out of your lungs. Press your back against the floor, belly button presses towards the floor. Hold your breath out. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. And release. And let's get our breath back to normal. So good job, guys. While we're here, we're going to loosen up our hips a little bit. So bend your knees, bring your feet up about width apart, hip width apart. We're going to do some windshield wipers. So we're going to start by just going from sacrum edge to sacrum edge, moving slowly back and forth, just the edge of your hip to the other edge of your hip. When you feel yourself start to twist, you've gone too far. We're just warming up. So just back and forth, loosening up those hips a little bit. This is a great movement for that. Just la-di-da-di-da. And one more. Okay. Now, put a sponge ball or a block or maybe a thick, soft pillow between your thighs. Your knees are going to come closer together than they were. Keep your feet apart. So it's kind of an angle. Now keep that sponge ball or brick or a block between your legs and let's go back and forth. Now this is going to restrict your movement somewhat, but you still just want to go halfway down. We're not going all the way down to the floor. We're just, when you feel your opposite hip start to lift, then switch and go the other direction. So you're pressing this between your thighs We're working our abductors and adductors doing this. So again, moving slowly, just going back and forth, warming it up. Going about halfway down. Like I say, when you feel your other hip start to lift, then you turn around and come the other way. One more. Okay, good job. Go ahead and remove your sponge ball or pillow. Now this time, have your feet about mat width apart. So they're pretty far apart. They're further than your hips. They're actually extending out. If you were to put your knees together, it would look like this. So in this time, you want to come down with your knee as far as you can. But if you feel a strain, stop there. You may not be able to come all the way down to the floor. That's okay. Just come as far as you can. We're still going slowly. But both knees to the left, both knees to the right, just as far as is comfortable for you. We're still not straining. We're still warming up. We're still moving slowly. Now, if you wanted to actually stretch in this position, you could rest your left knee on your right ankle and then pull your foot up and rest your right ankle on your left knee. And this is a choice. You don't have to do that if you don't want to. And then just go the other way. So if your knees are to the left, you're resting your left ankle on your right knee. But that is a stretch. And if it's painful or it hurts, don't do that. Just continue to do the wide leg windshield wipers. I can feel this. Be aware of where you're feeling it. I can feel it right where my leg hits my hip. Okay. Enough of that folderol. Let's come up to a sitting position. We're going to do our regular stretches that we do. So you can sit cross-legged. You can sit in hero's pose. You can even be sitting on a chair when you're doing these. So just so you know. So we're going to do the side bend with the lat stretch. Let me get my timer ready. So hand along the mat, left hand comes up and over. There we go. Keep both hips on the floor. Lean over as much as is comfortable for you. Just be aware of where you're feeling this. I feel it all the way down my side. I like this stretch. Make sure your both hips, sitting bones are on the floor. And try to be as vertical as possible. So your elbow is not going to point directly to the ceiling, but try to keep it as high as you can. Now lower your arm, your upper arm, until it's parallel to the floor. Feel a different stretch. We're having an extra long stretch on this side because I was not watching the clock. And feel a different kind of a stretch under your arm, down your back. Now, arm up and torso up. Good job. Now we're going to do the other side. So, left hand along the mat, right hand is up and over. Both sits bones are on the floor. Trying to be as vertical as possible. So reach that elbow to the ceiling, reach that arm to the edge of the mat, and just feel that stretch. This time I'm watching. Now lower your arm till it's parallel to the floor and reach for that corner. Feel that different stretch. Oh, that always feels good. Reach, reach, reach. Okay. Arm up, torso up. Okay. Now let's go ahead and switch our legs. We've been sitting here for a few minutes. We're going to do the thoracic rotation. So left hand on right knee, right arm's behind you, spider fingers for support. And then just rotate to the right. Keep your back straight, your shoulders back, and your head level. One thing we learned in this seminar that we went to, one thing that I learned is it's not so much about the pose as it is about the way you're holding yourself. And that may sound like the same thing, but it's not. So it's how you do it, not whether you can do it. You can move your head back and forth in this position. You can move your rib cage back and forth. Okay, come on out of that. And we'll do the other side. So right hand on left knee, left arm behind you, rotate. Remember your options. So I'm trying to think how they put that. It's not whether you actually do the pose, it's how you get into the pose the proper way. You can hurt yourself by trying to get into a pose you're actually not capable of doing. I can relate to that. So come on around. Good job. Now, okay, the third thing in this triplet is going to be cat-cow. Now, I'm going to turn so you can see what I'm doing. But you're probably all familiar with cat-cow. When you inhale, you're rounding your back. And when you exhale, you're arching your back. So it's an exaggerated pose both ways. So exhale, inhale, exhale, inhale. This was one of the things they recommended you do. One more. Good job. Good job. Okay. Now we're going to go ahead and stand at the wall. And we're going to do an actual pose, which is Tadasana. And we're going to talk about that for a minute. So let me just rearrange a little bit here. Now, you don't need to see my head. Tadasana is the mountain pose. And a lot of people think it's the easiest one because you're just standing. Well, you're not just standing. You are standing in a balanced and stacked position. So I have a rug here, but you should be, especially if you're learning this, you should be on a floor if possible. And I practice this in my bathroom, my kitchen, my mudroom. They all have tile. So we'll start with the feet. The feet are hip width apart and facing forward. Now, let me show you something about feet. When I am normally standing, my feet are like this. This is how I normally stand. This is not how we're going to stand in Tadasana. Our feet are forward, and the edges of our feet are actually in line. So it feels like you're pigeon-toed, but you're really not. So how I learned this was in my bathroom. I have these tiles, and I can line up my feet, and the tiles are about this big. I can line up the edges of my feet with the edges of the tiles. And that's how I got used to having my feet in line. Now, another thing about the feet is you want to be balanced on them. Most people are either balanced on their heels or they're balanced on their toes. We want the balance to go all through the foot. So the big toe mound, the little toe mound, and the heel are all holding equal weight. So on both feet, big toe mound, little toe mound, heel, equal weight. Our knees are straight but not locked. Hips are above the knees. I'm going to have to stand back. Hips are above the knees. Shoulders are above the hips. Hands are at your side. Eyes are facing forward. So this was one of the poses they talked about in the seminar. Learning this pose and holding this pose is very good for osteoporosis, surprisingly bone building, and just frailty in general. So this is a pose. If you're standing correctly, you feel yourself being lifted. You want to imagine that there's a string attached to the top of your head that is pulling the crown of your head up towards the ceiling. So your head is straight ahead. You're not looking down. You're not looking at me. Hands at your sides. Feet balanced. Legs straight. Knees not locked. I have to focus on my feet. And that's it. And there's a lot more to this pose than just standing. So everything is in line and relaxed but strong. So, I was reading up on it, and there's pages on this pose. So we're going to go ahead and do the back bend at the wall that we normally do. Now that I've spent 5 minutes talking about standing. Now the back bend is also very good. It was one of the things we were validated on. So here we go. I'm going to set this for 40 seconds. Arms up. Palms on the wall. We're going to be here for 40 seconds. This is bone building. There we go. Come on down. Now we're going to do the spine twist. This is what we normally do. I want you to be able to see my feet. So right foot forward, left foot back, elbows at your sides, hands up, and rotate towards the wall, palms on the wall. Now we're going to be here for 40 seconds as well. And this is very similar to the thoracic spine twist we do on the floor, just a different version of it. Okay, come on around. We're going to do the other side. So left foot forward, right foot back, elbows at our sides, hands up, and palms on the wall. So again, similar version of what we do on the floor. Trying to make sure my palms are even. A lot of stuff in that seminar. I need to go back over my notes. Okay. So there we are. Now, running out of time. I had more stuff to do. I'm going to plug in and then we're going to talk about planks. Okay. Now, I wanted to talk a little bit about planks. There are several planks you can do. I'm going to show you a couple of them. There are 100 different ways to do planks. Of course, we have the standard, which is arms extended, legs extended. This is the hardest one to do. I hate this one. Sorry, I do. But you can put your knees down as long as your back is straight and you're not extending your hips. So this is a version. And then we've got forearm, which is also a version. Your toes are still up. This one I can hold for longer. And then you can also do the plank against the wall. You can do a plank against a table or a chair or a couch. If I had room, which I don't, you do it against that. You could do it against a wall. You can do it against a chair. Plank on a chair. So there are many, many different ways to do planks. I think the important thing is that you do them. So before we close, let's be supine for just a minute and do a couple of things, and then we'll end with a plank because we're strong women. So we're going to start with bent knee leg lifts. So very simple. Your knees are bent, your feet are flat on the floor. You're just keeping the bend in your leg and coming up. We're going to do 10 on one side and then 10 on the other side. So that was 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Very good. Okay. Now the other side. Now, when you move, you want to move with purpose. We're not using inertia. We're just using the leg. So up and down. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and 10. Okay, good job. All righty. Now we're going to keep one leg bent and extend the other like this, not touching it to the floor, and bring it back. So again, 10 times. We're going to start on the right. So 1, 2, 3. I'm not touching the ground when my leg is extended. 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 10. Oh, I don't know about you, but I can feel it in my leg. Whoa. Let's exhaust the other one. So straighten and bend. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 10. All right. Good job. Let's give ourselves just a quick rest here, because, yeah, that was some leg work. Okay, the third triplet is actually for core, but also for legs. And it's the one we love so much. It's up and then hover. So there are options here. If you have trouble with this, you can put hands under your hips. That will make it easier. You can do one leg at a time. You can just lift both legs and bring them down, or you can lift one leg at a time and bring it up. So here we go, 10 times. Up, down, up. That's 1, 2, 3, 4, 6, 7, 8, 9, one more, 10. Okay, good job. Oh, all righty. Now let's go into a prone position. Come up to tabletop. And we're going to try our plank. Now, again, if you have trouble with your wrists when you're on tabletop, you can always fold your mat over and put your wrists on the folded part. Or you can be on your forearms. Now, we're going to try to plank for, let's say, 10 seconds. Whichever plank you'd like to try. I showed you several. I'm going to be on my forearms. So let's just try this. So forearms, legs are out straight. You're on your toes. 1, 1,000, 2, 1,000, 3, 1,000, 4, 1,000, 5, 1,000, 6, 1,000, 7, 1,000, 8, 1,000, 9, 1,000, 10, 1,000. Lower your knees. Aha. Okay, I'm dead. Right. So let's go ahead and go into position for Yoga Nidra. Make sure that you are either warm enough or cool enough, as the case may be. I'm going to lead you through a 61-point guided meditation. You might want to put a cloth over your eyes. Cuddle up in a blanket if it's cool. Allow your awareness to flow to the points that I mentioned without moving any part of your body. Begin with your breath. Breathe in, breathe out. Observe your abdomen as it rises and falls with the gentle flow of your breath. Now bring your awareness to the center of your eyebrows, center of your throat, right shoulder, elbow, wrist, right thumb, second finger, third finger, fourth finger, fifth finger, right wrist, elbow, shoulder, center of your throat, left shoulder, elbow, wrist, left thumb, second finger, third finger, fourth finger, fifth finger, left wrist, elbow, shoulder, center of your throat, spiritual heart center, right side of your chest, heart center, left side of your chest, heart center, navel center, center of your pelvis, right hip, knee, ankle, right big toe, second toe, third toe, fourth toe, fifth toe, right ankle, knee, hip, center of your pelvis, left hip, knee, ankle, left big toe, second toe, third toe, fourth toe, fifth toe, left ankle, knee, hip, center of your pelvis, navel center, heart center, center of your throat, center of your eyebrows. This concludes the 61-point guided meditation. Begin to wiggle and stretch. Stretch your legs out if they're bent. Stretch your arms above your head. Wiggle your fingers and your toes. And rotate your wrists and your ankles. First one way, and then the other. Now stretch one side of your body, and then the other, and stretch, and stretch. Now take your right knee and hold it to your chest. Say, thank you, knee. I appreciate you. And straighten that leg out. Take your left knee and hold it to your chest. Thank you, knee. Straighten that leg out. Now both knees. Hold them to yourself. And slowly rock back and forth. Feel that massage on your back. When you're ready, roll towards the camera using your lower arm as a pillow. This is our gratitude minute. Just sit here and be grateful. I'm grateful that you were able to join me today. I'm grateful that I was able to be here today. I'm grateful that I can move the way we move. And I'm grateful that you can too. And just be grateful for what we have. An attitude of gratitude is always the best way to start the day. Now, when you're ready, come on up to sitting. You might want to unmute yourself. I'm going to remove my spotlight. Change my view to gallery. Hands at our heart. We didn't do a whole lot of arm work, but let's go ahead and press our palms together. Just feel where our shoulders are and then loosen. Again, I want to thank you for joining me today on this beautiful Saturday. And I hope you have a joyous rest of the day. And let's close the class by saying to each other, Namaste.
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 Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Kathy.
Thank you, guys.
Thank you for sharing what you just learned.
Yes.